And good Sunday morning, June 1st, 2025. Coach Keyton Crawford here on the Crawford Podcasting Network from the Crawford Studios. Kerry in their Big Gel Studios on the east side of Lansing. How come you don't? You need to brand that more. I'm trying to help brand your studio, and you're not. You don't have anything behind you. It's a blank wall. Are you that vanilla of a person? What's the deal?
I am plain Jane, man. Come on now. Like,
well, I'll tell you what, you're really good. I mean, I love you as a brother, and I love you. This podcast we're in, I think, are into our third year, if not more. But your connections with terrific high school coaches that we have throughout Greater Lansing, and with Jeff, I want you to introduce him. We got a good one and a highly experienced one, a Hall of Fame coach, and in every sense of the word. So, Kerry, I'll give that to you.
I got it. I have the greatest opportunity to introduce. Well, dang, Jeff, I'm 56, so you got to be like 60, 61. Probably 50. If I'm 56, at least 45 years of my life, I've known you and watched you and get to brag about you. And people say things like, when they talk about Jim Abbott, and I say, hey, I know the original Jim Abbott, bro.
Yeah.
I watched Jeff Cheadle play baseball and do things that a lot of folks can't do. And knowing you, watching you play with my brother, play against my brother, coaching with you, watch you coach my sister or my nieces, it's truly, and they're watching everything unfold. Just yesterday, I've been talking to Tom, like, we got to talk about getting these guys on. And I'm like, well, dang, after watching what happened yesterday, I said, we got to get Cheadle on. Let's watch how that game unfolded. But I just want to be happy to introduce my good friend, Jeff Cheadle, the head softball coach at Laingsburg, formerly of Everett High School. Well over 900 wins, I believe, at this point.
Yep.
Wow.
Who does that, right?
Nobody does that. Not very many. 14, I think 14, and then there are 14 coaches, Jeff, in the entire state that have reached that milestone. If less.
That might be somewhere right around there. I haven't looked, in another year, last year, so I don't know what the number is, if anybody's gone over this year or not. But yeah, so yeah, I'm up there about 950 now, or you're real close to it.
Wow. Man, it's going to be close, Kerry. He hits 1,000. We're going to have, on that following Sunday, we're going to have Jeff here on
if the brother keep on doing it, I mean, kudos, because Kerry not putting that no. I know there's a lot more games, but that'd be equivalent to what, like
probably about 2 more years.
200-300 wins in football, something like that.
Oh yeah, probably. I don't know, because they play in about 10, 12.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. And usually when I first started, we only played like about 20 games a year. So now we can play up to 38.
Yeah. And so, Jeff, how many total years between Everett and Laingsburg have you coached, and what motivates you to keep coaching?
Well, I did 18 years at Everett, and then moved out to Laingsburg and taught out there and stuff. And so I've been doing it ever since there. And I think this is my 19th or maybe my 20th year at Laingsburg. So it's 38 altogether.
Oh my Lord. Good Lord.
But what keeps me motivated, I guess the kids. I like working with the kids. And as long as they are willing to work hard, I'm willing to put the time in. And as long as I've got the health and the energy, then that's something I really enjoy doing.
Well, Jeff, you just hit on a point that Kerry and I talk about, and this varies district to district, team to team, sport to sport, if the kids are willing to work hard. And that's right, Kerry? That's not always the case, Kerry.
100%.
No, I mean, hey, there's been a couple of years that I sit back and go, man, do I want to do this again, or whatever, but for the most part, it's been very rewarding as far as how hard the kids that play for me, they work. So,
Yeah.
but I don't give them any excuses. I don't want to hear anything because don't tell me you can't do something. You need to find a way. That's been my life motto. You got to find a way to do stuff if you want to, be like everybody else. So, and that's what my parents kind of instilled in me. There is no excuses. So,
none.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
I can't even, truly, Jeff. No, I mean, if people don't know, then they need to know. But watching playing for you, there is no reason. You can't have an excuse.
Right.
Especially if they know your backstory. It's like, no, you can't. You can't tell me you can't do something.
Right. Yeah.
No,
that's right. I've had that conversation with a few of the kids.
Yeah.
I go,
it's like, no.
Yeah, exactly.
You can do. So to watch your kids perform, even like I said, when Brandy and Jennifer played for you, it's like, oh, I know what y'all getting into now.
Yeah.
And Jennifer's dad, Loomis, he's played with you, and he understands. So it's like, it's just good to be able to when they understand, and then when you get a chance to see it in action, it's like, no, that's why they have success, because the coach does not allow his players to play that way. And that's why, like when you're watching like College World Series, no, those girls all have a different mindset.
Right.
No, we're here to win.
You're right.
Yeah. We're going to do whatever we got to do to win. Like when Baby stole home yesterday, she took off, and it was like, okay, here we go. Hell bent on Fury, and I'm coming, and I'm not worried about if I don't care if she throws the ball back to the pitcher. I'm stealing home. And I mean, that's just the mindset those girls have watching them play. It's just amazing to watch these days. That's why I know I struggle watching high school softball now, because I know what it looks like.
Right. Yeah.
I've seen the best, watching my sisters play. I know what it looks like. And then to watch these girls, they're more interested in what's the in between lunch.
Well, no, but Kerry, I mean, this is why I'm glad you brought this up, and I wanted to address this with Jeff, because he's, the ultimate evaluator of the situation. He taught at Everett High, coached at Everett High School, big city school here in Lansing. We got Everett, Section, Eastern, big schools. But all of the success in softball seems to have gone rural. It goes outlying area. Eaton Rapids has been good. Grand Ledge is good. You do have Lansing Catholic. That's not a public school. Has been really good. But why is it good in the rural areas, softball, and it's such a struggle to get even enough kids? There's one consolidated high school softball team for 3 Division I high schools in Lansing. Why is that?
Well, I don't know the exact cause, but I think the youth programs, having those and the availability to those, a lot of the smaller communities have their own programs going. So they introduce those kids at a younger age. And I don't know in Lansing if, they even have a, 8 and under, 10 and under, 12 and under youth program for softball, or basically kind of the Olympic sports. Because I think those are the ones that suffer the most. Yep. And, so with if that's not available and the kids aren't introduced to it, at a young age, then it's hard to get them when they come in as 9th graders to go, hey, let's play softball, and they've never really thrown a ball around. Or
it's not a quick learn. It's not a quick learn.
Not. So
you'll get them. They probably won't be functional until maybe senior, if they played all 4 years.
Right. Yeah. Right. And they're getting thrown right into it too, because again, there's not enough kids. So you've got a 9th grader coming in. If they don't have very many skills, but they got to be playing at the varsity level, to be able to fill out the team, could be pretty discouraging to those kids.
Yeah,
so
you're setting them up to fail in a lot of ways. And actually, that's a great point, Jeff. Like Kerry, you've seen this at the high school football level with communities.
Oh, no question.
Struggling with numbers. I mean, whole high school is a big ass high school. One football team or two football. I mean, it's insane what's happened in terms of overall lack of participation.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Just getting kids, getting kids off them phones and getting them out to do something that's worthwhile. I will say I have heard and talked to a few people that they are going to start introducing some things this summer with softball and baseball through Parks and Rec, and doing some things there, some camps, some other things like that to get kids moving. But once again, until I truly believe you're going to have to spend the time at the Dwight Rich, at the Gardner, to get those kids playing softball of some sort in the spring, where they don't really do it spring, in the summer, but take those kids and combine teams and get into the real leagues, not playing each other. We're not getting any better just playing each other. We have to get teams, and then if you get enough kids in, like say Lansing, you get the girls involved so that when they go to Sexton and Everett and Eastern and Heights, then you can have your own team.
Yeah.
But it has, like Jeff said, they have, East Lansing has its own softball club. Laingsburg has it. I mean, I've been out to Laingsburg all summer playing, youth softball at Laingsburg. Those people have their own programs. And, unfortunately, back in 82 or 83, when we went to ninth grade in high school, we gutted the middle school.
That's true. That's good. And we're all three of us are Lansing public school products. Jeff, you went to Everett, Kerry and I, Eastern, and I'm much older than you guys. I mean, my God, it was, close to 2,000 kids in each of the three high schools, 1,800, 19, graduating class of 600 plus and all, 500 to 600. And, it was, going out for sports. It was a big deal, and it's hard to make a team. And now, like you said, Jeff, if there's a freshman that even resembles an athlete, you put him on the varsity. I mean,
right. Yeah. I mean,
just, that's crazy. Well, tell me about your team, if you could, before, we get this, we'll get back to some of this topic, but Lansing Catholic's a heck of a softball program. They won the tournament over at Randy Park, the Hall of Fame thing. And I just kind of give us an overview of what makes your team tick.
Well, I've got my junior classes. They've been with, this is their third year on the varsity, and almost all of them basically started for me when they were freshmen. I think I started 5 or 6 freshmen when we made our run to the semifinals. And just a group that was very talented that came in, and that group has kind of like carried us and led us. And I've had some other kid, right now our starting pitcher is a senior. She was a sophomore when we went there. And it's just an overall, we've blended in pretty good with the younger kids coming in. And their work ethic is, beyond what I can, even for me, that I can kind of comprehend. Those kids every day, all school year they get to the school by 6 a.m. and they do a morning workout.
Wow.
And, every single morning they did that all year. And yeah, I mean, actually it's funny because I saw Hub Wait at the Diamond Classic when we were going to play. He was over there going to watch, and he goes, "Man, I can't believe the size of some of your kids and the arms that they have on them."
Yeah.
And stuff. He says they look like they can, just crush the ball. And I said, that's because they've put all the time into it, And so, and they're well-rounded athletes too, because out in Laingsburg, we really push to be the multi-sport athlete. So, a lot of them play basketball, they play volleyball. They dual. I have 2 kids that are dual sport athletes. During the softball season, they actually run track. And so we try to share the best we can. We've got soccer players that, in fact, if I was short like a couple of runners, I'd probably go to the soccer team and see if I could steal a couple of their kids.
Wow.
To teach them how to run bases and stuff like that if we could. But this year I happen to be fine with what we have, so I didn't have to really do that. But we're pretty good. All the coaches are pretty good out there about trying to share athletes. So that really helps. And we
Kerry, Kerry, how's that concept of track, running fast, running the bases? There's a correlation there, right? All you got to do is round them a little bit.
We used to. That's all we used to do. Hey, look, one of our last ones, you come to practice. I need you to come get some handoff work on Mondays, and you do your soccer thing because we practice at the same place anyway.
Right.
I need you to get some handoff work with your 2 girls, and because I know you're working out with soccer, so you good.
Yeah.
Canfield play baseball for Everett, and then he come run track for us. Like, hey man, I just need you to come get this little bit here, and then you do your main sport. And hey, if the kids are willing to do it, why the hell would you stop them?
Right.
Yeah.
You're helping your school and your program get better.
Yeah.
You got to figure out a way to make it share. You have your primary sport. I understand that. I think we have a young girl that plays with my Callie. She plays tennis, and that's her main sport, but she plays softball too. But they just went to the state tournaments, and you got to figure it out. You figure out a way to make it work.
Right.
And like East Lansing, they struggle because that's MHSA problem. You got all these girls' sports in the spring.
Right. That's true for the big school.
That is true. It dilutes you quite a bit.
Or like PW, or like the smaller schools, like, okay, we're not going to, like, Laingsburg doesn't have lacrosse. Okay, so that's one less they got to worry about. But East Lansing, we're going to have everything. So now you're limiting,
good point. Really
going to go play, and like I said, 5 sports in the spring is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Right.
But hey, Jeff, back to your team. What does your team have to do to make a deep run?
I don't know. I just play consistently. You're going to see good pitching. So making sure that you're putting the ball in play. Avoid the strikeouts and be productive with your outs. That's what we really concentrated on going into playing Perry and Lansing Catholic was. We know we're going to make some outs, but when we have that opportunity with the kid on, is it going to be productive? Are you going to be able to move that kid up 60 feet or whatever? Or are you going to make that pitcher throw 8 or 9 pitches before you, if you end up striking out or whatever? And that's really what I think you got to continue to do that. Hey, in the state tournament, when it's one and done in softball and baseball, you got to have some luck too. One bad bounce and your season's over. And, and so I just think that, and they got to believe that they belong, And so, going into this year, cause we exited early last year. Lansing Catholic got us last year in the district cause we had them in the first round. That's how we drew it up, for the drawing. And, and they ended up beating us. We beat them in the classic last year, but then they beat us in the district. So, flopping back and forth. We lost twice to Perry during the regular season.
Wow.
They ended up winning the league, and then we turned around and beat them in the district. So
different season. So what's your next? What's your next on the tournament trail? What's your next game?
Next Saturday we're in the regionals, and we play at Leslie High School, but we play Bronson High School.
Okay.
Yep.
How are they?
I'm trying to find some info on them. I haven't found a whole lot. I'm sure it looks to me like from what I've seen or heard, is they got a good pitcher, but besides that, we don't really have any common opponents, so it's going to be kind of hard to figure that out. So sometimes when you get to, it's just going to be a surprise, see what happens.
You know what, Kerry and I have talked about this. Like you get a dominant pitcher in women's softball, it's like a hot goalie in the Stanley Cup. I mean, it's it's a deal breaker for every other team. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's if you got somebody in the circle that can throw it, you automatically are competitive.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's well, what you said. I talk about that with my Cali all the time. Like, you can't give good team. You can't give any team really, but you can't give the good teams extra outs.
Right.
You just can't. You're
That's
not
true.
going to win a game.
Right.
And on the other side, you got to steal some. If they're going to give you the opportunity, not only do you got to steal them, but you got to make it hurt.
Right.
Like, you dropped a pop foul ball, you're going to give me X. Okay. And the biggest thing, and I tell her all the time, and it drives me nuts, like, put the ball in play. Make them have to do something.
Yeah.
The more you make them have to do something, trust me, they're 16, 14, 15, 16. Somebody's going to make a mistake.
Right.
Nobody's that good. Put the ball in play. Bunt it, slap it. I don't care what you do. Just get the ball out there and make them have to do something. And then when you're out there, and I've watched your girls do this a lot, when you're out there on the bases, be aggressive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Be aggressive, because people, just like anything else in life, when people are aggressive towards you, what does it do? It makes you nervous.
Yeah, it does.
They make mistakes.
Yep. It speeds them up, in their mind or whatever. They think they have to do things faster, and that's when they do make mistakes. So, yeah, we preach base running a lot. We spend some time on that, and I never criticize a kid for getting thrown out, being aggressive and stuff like that at all. So, I want them to take that chance.
But you got to go. You got to tell me about the seventh inning, man. I got to hear about this.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brian Calloway, my man, Brian Calloway.
Beat writer.
I'm watching through him because I'm doing stuff, and I'm like, I can't beat it. I'm like, well, let's see. But I know Brian posted something. That seventh inning had to just be unbelievable yesterday.
Well, it was kind of a roller coaster because we were up 3-2 going into the top of the seventh,
Wow.
and so. And we'd been on the head the entire game. And so they come up, and it was their 9-1-2 batters. And we go, we got to get the number 9 out. We got to get her out. Number 1 and 2, they were killing us, Yeah. And so we didn't. She got on. She got a hit. So the number 9's on. And then the next girl, we got the next girl out. And then the girl, she ended up being 3 for 3. She ended up getting a hit. So it was 2 on, and of course it brings up one of the twins, and you knew that one of them was due.
You already.
So she ends up hitting one and knocks 2 in. So all of a sudden now we're behind.
My Lord.
Yeah, so we're behind 4-3. So now we're going into the bottom of the 7th, and luckily we were at the top of our order, so we felt pretty good about that. But we had 2, we ended up with, we got, my leadoff batter got a hit, and I think we had 2 outs, and then my number 2 batter, she hit a ground ball and they booted it. And so it opened the door. So it put us on 1st and 3rd. And of course we stole 2nd. They kind of let us have that one. And it brought up Bella Latuzek, which is my number 3. She's probably been the most consistent hitter all year. And she was had 2 strikes on her.
Oh my word.
Yeah. And I believe she even actually fouled 1 or 2 off. And then she ended up getting putting one back up the middle for a base hit, and we scored 2 off from it for the walk-off. So
wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
I tell you what, Oklahoma and you've been watching these walk-offs all weekend, man.
Walk-offs are great. I mean, you're seeing them in MLB, you're seeing them in the College World Series for women. Something just dawned on
watching them come through at, it takes me, back to our Dexter game last year. Our kids we didn't give up in 40 seconds. We drive in the field.
That's true. Great example.
You got got a shot. If you got a chance, if they got to throw the ball, you got to strike left. You got a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
As I wrap this up, this great podcast, Jeff Cheadle here at Laingsburg, terrific softball coach, 38 years. So 38 years of coaching for you, Jeff. Kerry's got 33. So between the two of you cats, you're talking 71 years of coaching high school sports.
Wow.
That's kind of scary. That's kind of wonderful.
Yeah.
And how much longer, Jeff? How much longer? What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I wanted to for sure get the juniors through. So for sure another year. But you never know. I mean, I'm retired now from teaching, so it makes it a little bit easier. I can go out and putt around on the field and stuff like that. It makes it a little bit easier. I don't have to get up the next morning after our games, doubleheaders that we don't get back till 10. So it makes it a little bit easier. And as long as the kids are willing to, the new ones that are coming in, if they're willing to put in the time and the work, then I could see myself going a few more years. And as long as my health stays healthy and, my wife is okay with it.
I love it, man. Well, Kerry, that's kind of like your approach on things. You've been, as long as you just keep working.
You keep your options open every year.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let those kids decide whether or not,
there you go.
But kudos to Laingsburg for allowing their great softball coach to retire and rehire him as softball coach, which a lot of these places around here, they so quick to let somebody retire and they don't let them, like, he's winning. He's doing great with, what I'm saying? So kudos to Laingsburg for making sure they keep their coach.
No, they're smart. Yeah, it's a wise move. Well, Jeff, we really appreciate you being on Coach Keyton Crawford here in the Crawford podcast. And now, great job, Kerry, picking Jeff. But we're going to have you on again. You were terrific. And best of luck as you move on to the regionals. We'll be cheering on the Wolfpack of Laingsburg High School. And thanks again for being on with us.
All right. Thank you for having me.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
See ya.
All right.